Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about, are we on the frequency of what it is that we're trying to consume in our lives? A lot of times we can find ourselves going through the motions and doing this, that, and the other thing, but we aren't truly connected to what we're doing. We aren't truly connected to what we're trying to manifest or what we're trying to consume, what we're trying to absorb. And I think the result of which is that we won't receive things to the best of the benefit if we're doing this. So I'll explain what I mean. So this topic came to mind yesterday, actually, when I was reading the book Think and Grow Rich. Now, you've probably seen this book several times. You've probably heard of it, or you've been recommended to read this book. Especially a lot of people who are, at that point, or want to start businesses, or want to, create something in their lives, or want to manifest something in their life, or maybe they're setting goals and they want to change the quality of their life. They're in this position, they want to get here, and there's a large gap between them. They don't necessarily know how to get to it. So I think that many people probably have been recommended this book. I know that I have had this book for several years, and it's only been recently that I actually picked it up and started reading it fairly consistently. And the thing is, well, I actually opened it up in the past, but I wasn't truly connected with it, which is, I think, the reason why I put it down at that point in time. So I have behind me quite a few books on my bookshelf, and this is not the first time that this has actually happened. I've gone through this thing where now, one thing for sure is that I buy books at a higher pace than I read them. And I have recently found that I can actually read books a lot quicker by reading out loud. One of the things I used to do is kind of read to myself in quiet. But if I read out loud, I go a lot quicker. But that's a side note. But anyways, I buy books at a higher pace than I read them. Usually for every 3 books that I buy, I probably complete one. 3 or 4 books. For every 3 or 4 books that I purchase, I may complete one. And that's kind of the pace that I go. But anyways, so I have quite a few books behind me that I have through the years. Sometimes I'll pick one up and then I'll put it back down and start reading another one. And I've always felt that the reason why I do this, and this could be justification, but I think there's a little bit more to that. It could be justification for the pace at which I read, but I think there's a little bit more to that. And I have always felt in the back of my mind that a part of the reason why that happens is because sometimes I bounce off on different frequencies, or I bounce off on different areas, or find that this book may benefit me now, or book may benefit me at a later point in time. I can be reading something for just the sake of trying to complete it, but during reading, I may realize that, hey, my energy will be a little bit served a little bit better by consuming this book or reading this book or trying to learn this at this point in time. So I think that sort of having a bit of a vast library of books, I think has been beneficial to me in that way, because it allows me to kind of move myself where I feel that I need to be in that point in time, or I feel that I can benefit more so in that point in time. So anyways, like this book, for example, as I said, I picked it up sometime in the past. I probably read a few pages in it, and picking it up recently, I have found that I connected with this book a whole lot more than I did at when I first tried to read it. I'm really fascinated with this book. It is absolutely amazing. And I think before, if I had tried to read this in the past, it was more so I was trying to force myself to consume the material. And sure, it maybe would have been fine. Maybe I still would have got benefits from it, but I truly believe that I wasn't on the frequency of what I was trying to consume at that point in time. I wasn't ready to receive the message that was going to come out of this book. I wasn't really going to be connected to it, because there are things in my life that I think that I had needed to experience in order to actually put myself on that frequency, right? Things that I need to go through, things I need to experience, things I need to try. I guess I just wasn't at the level of reaping this book for the maximum reward. And a lot of times I think that we can kind of get caught up in that situation, especially when we're young. We can be recommended this strategy, do this, that, and the other thing, especially when you're ambitious about certain things, you're ambitious about your goals. You're trying to create something, you're trying to build in your life, you're trying to, get to a great financial position in your life. You're so excited about that. You want to learn all the strategies. You want to start implementing what you hear a lot of the people who have, gained success in their life. And this is a book that a lot of successful people have recommended. And again, if you haven't read it, I recommend you check it out. But again, when you do that, don't necessarily force it. If you don't connect with it at that point in time, maybe there's a little bit more things you need to go through, or maybe there's a little bit more material things you need to learn that can actually bring you up to that level. But this is one of those books that, especially when you're young, like I said, you can be very ambitious. People can recommend it to you and you want to follow it. You think this is the key to success. A lot of times we can get sold that thing that people say is is an absolute essential. And I want to be very careful when I say things like that, or if I say things like that, because there is not necessarily just one straightforward path, or if you read this, do this and that and the other thing, that you're going to reach what you want in life. I truly believe that we have to be on the frequency of what it is that we're trying to consume, whatever strategy we're trying to implement. We have to be on that frequency, right? And this can go to many other things in life. With meditation, a lot of times we can try to force ourselves to do this thing, and we may not be necessarily truly connected with it, right? We can go through all the motions, we can sit down, sit in silence and do all the practices sometimes, but if we aren't really truly connected with what we're trying to achieve, again, we may receive benefits, but at the same time, we won't reap the full reward, right? We won't get the maximum benefit from whatever it is that we're trying to gain. We just won't get it. So a lot of times, again, I think that it's very important just to kind of be aware of that. It's very important to, if there are activities that you're going through in your life right now and, you find that you're not really getting a benefit from them, maybe just sit and reflect on this and ask yourself that question. Am I at the point of where I can really consume this, right? Am I really connected with what it is that I'm trying to consume, or what it is that I'm trying to do or implement in my life? Or, am I more so forcing it, right? Again, you will still receive benefits from doing these things. And to be honest, it may be great when it comes to reading. Here's the funny thing, right? You can go back and read a book that you probably read a couple years ago or several years ago, and you will probably find much more in it the second time around than you did the first time. I've done that. It's just things that, as you grow older, as you get more experience in life, as you go through more things, you become more wiser. You can connect with these books and material a lot more than you could have, in the previous points. And maybe if you read it a third time, you'll find more at that point in time. That's just kind of how it is. So, to be honest, I don't want to necessarily tell you to wait to do a certain action or to do a certain thing. If you're practicing that, then that's fine, right? If you're reading something, that's fine. If you're implementing some strategy or plan of action or whatever in your life, that's fine. But, if you find yourself putting it to the side or falling off of it at some point, or you can identify something that you have done in your life, maybe you weren't truly connected with that point in time. Maybe just try it again, right? Maybe, again, when it comes to books, just pick one up that you may have read before and read it again. A lot of times, like I said, you can find a lot more in it that second time around. And that just could be because you're a little bit more connected with what you're trying to actually receive, right? And maybe you can receive more benefits on top of what you have before, or find things that you just didn't see before. I was watching some video. I think the channel is Grave Mind, and there's this guy that he does these sorts of motivational videos, and they can be they're very mentally stimulating in a way. They can kind of actually make you think quite a bit. And I listen to these before I work out and on my way to the gym a lot of times. But anyways, there was this guy, and I'll see if I can find the quote. He said that, when you're reading a book a second time or something like this, I don't remember exactly word for word. If I find it, I'll put it on screen. But he said that if you're reading a book the second time around, you're not necessarily finding something in the book you didn't see before. You're finding something in yourself that you didn't see before. And that, to be honest, I feel that, I think that maybe that's the core of it. The fact that you can find things in books at a later point in time that you didn't find before is because maybe you have grown and there's something within yourself that allows you to see whatever it is you didn't see before. You go at things with more experienced eyes, more wiser eyes, more intellect, and that allows you to kind of reap more benefits the second time around, I believe. So yeah, again, a lot of times, like I said, the central point of this video is that, if you're doing something in your life, you've done something before, it didn't necessarily work, then maybe at that point in time, you just weren't ready for it, right? You just weren't on the frequency of it, whatever it is you're trying to create, manifest, or consume in your life. So just be conscious of that. Just revisit whatever it is that you think that can benefit you, or like I said, things that you may have done before, you didn't see the benefits, maybe try them again. So that's what I want to talk about today, guys. I hope that I've said something that can benefit you. And as always, until next time, I'll catch you later.